Hi, it's Jo from Minerva. Today I'm going to take a look at some crepe fabrics and some matching patterns. Crepe is often a polyester or a viscose, a man-made fibre, so it has an incredible drape, which is why you would choose it. So you can get blouse sleeves that hang really nicely. You can cut it on the bias to get neck shapes and collars. The fabrics that I'm going to show you today are focused more on the weight and the texture and what they're suitable for, because they're all plain fabrics that I'm showing you. But if you would like a pattern fabric, then John Caldor is the place to go. They have the most amazing crepes with florals and large prints on. They're really perfect for making dresses and tops without too much cutting into the shoulders. If you decide to use crepe in a dressmaking project, you might need to make sure that you've got some tools to set you up for success. Crepe fabric is quite slippy for cutting out, so you need to have a really good cutting out surface, a kitchen table or a countertop. It's quite tricky to do on the floor because if you're cutting it in on the fold, then the layers slide a little bit. So some pattern weights might be useful, or something that you can use as pattern weights. You could try cutting out with a rotary cutter if you've got the surface for it, or you need really sharp scissors, because if you've got scissors that aren't sharp, as soon as you cut, then you'll slip the one layer away from another. So make sure you've got the right tools for the job right from the start. Different weight crepes work for very different garments. So you can get heavy crepe, which you can make trousers from, and you'll get that really nice fluidity. Or you can get a lighter weight crepe that you can use for tops and blouses. So make sure if you're choosing crepe, you check our fabric description for the weight or the hand of the fabric. All my fabric and pattern matching videos start with the simplest patterns first and then move through some more tricky ones, because if you're choosing crepe, patterns will become more difficult anyway. So I'm going to start off with something simple and then work up to some more complex makes. My first pattern pick for you is Simplicity 1069. It's perfect for crepe. It's got that sort of billowing bottom to a maxi skirt, large wide leg trousers and shorts as well. So there's lots of holiday wear to go on there. One of them's a wrap skirt, so that's really good if you're new to sewing and you don't know how to put zips and things in yet. That would make a really beautiful flowing skirt. The fabric that I've chosen is a stretch crepe. Now, this crepe has a stretch in one direction. So if you were making the trousers, you've got a little bit of give around the hips and the waist and the bottom, but you've still got that beautiful drape for the bottom of your trousers. And even though I'm showing you solid coloured fabrics today, I think that's really good for wardrobe staples like those large trousers, because if you made wide leg trousers in a big floral pattern, you sort of limited what you can wear with them. So this is a blush colour. It does come in 14 other colours. It's 63% polyester and 33% viscose, and it's the viscose that gives it the drape. And there's 4% spandex in that, which gives it that stretch across the grain. It's described as medium to heavy, so you can see even if you ask for or look for a heavy crepe, it won't be stiff, it will just be thicker and more opaque. This would make a great wrap dress as well, this weight fabric. It will be listed below, so if you want to have a look at the other colours, you can go and explore. But it's absolutely perfect for Simplicity 1069. My second pick is quite similar, but if you prefer the fit of New Look patterns, this one is New Look 6271, and that's got shorts, short skirt and trousers. I've made these trousers in a jersey, and they are really comfortable. They've got a really, well, for me, they've got a really good crotch depth on them, so they don't come up really, really high. They're a little bit shorter in the waist, but then you get that nice flow around the bottom. So a crepe is ideal again. You could mix crepes here, so you could have patterned one and a plain one on the bottom. That pattern goes from size 10 to 22, and it's got that drawstring waist. So again, if you're new to fitting, you've got a bit of margin for error there on your fitting around the waist. And the fabric is a microfiber fabric. So this one is thinner. You can see me through it. So it's a little bit finer. You could make anything from the previous pattern with this as well, but it's really, really smooth. It's called microfiber smooth crepe fabric. It comes in 6 neutral colours. So this one hasn't got a huge colour range, but again, if you're making clothes that are a staple basic garment, then solid colours are great. Even though you can see me through it, I've picked that pattern because you've got a gathered waist around the area that you'd want the most coverage. Once you've got the gather over the waist and down through the thigh, you are getting more of an opaque feel there, and then down at the bottom you'll get that sort of slightly sheer look. It's 100% polyester, this one, and it's in the budget range. So this one's 59 inches wide. It's not expensive, and it's great if you just want to try out crepe and see if it's comfortable for you, see if you can cut it, see if you can sew it, and that pattern is a really good place to start. So I know that's posted up on, you can go and check out some makes from that pattern. That's New Look 6271. My next pattern is one of my most used. It's New Look 6217. From there I've made the top, the trousers, the skirt. You can make the top in jersey, you can make it in viscose and crepe. Because you've got a shoulder that drops down, something with a drape is really perfect. If you make this top in a cotton, this sort of, the sleeves sort of stick out at the side, so you need something with a drape. And actually, the one item I haven't made off this pattern is this little cardigan throw, and that's the thing that's the most perfect to make with crepe, in fact. So I'm going to show you a fabric for that, but the top would be equally good in crepe. This one has got a real luxury feel to it, a sort of luster. It's quite, can you hear it? It's sort of thicker, drapier. It's much more opaque, but it feels as fine as the last one that was sort of microfiber fine. So this one feels fine, but it's got an element of the opaque in it, which means you can use it for the top there, the t-shirt top, without it being see-through, and it would also make the most beautiful throw over cardigan as well, because it's just got that sort of little luster on it. So if you made a plain one, you could use that as a throw over to a pattern dress. It comes in 27 different colours. This one is fawn. It's not a colour I wear very much actually, but I know some people can look pretty sophisticated in that colour. It's 100% polyester. It's 58 inches wide, so it's really good value, and it's called Luxury Crepe. It's really smooth. It would actually make really nice evening wear as well, because if you had something with a drape on there or a wrap, all of this folds in really nicely. So if you've got anything that's got a gather here or wraps that come round here, you get to see some of the sheen on it, and you get a nice fold without it being bulky. So that's my pattern pick for New Look 6217. One of the top qualities of crepe is that you can wash it and it doesn't lose its colour. So it's really good for some children's clothes. So for a really nice jumpsuit with a drape, this is New Look 6444. It's from their tweens range. There's a play suit, a skirt, a long maxi dress, and that really nice jumpsuit. And because you don't have to iron it, because you can wash it and hang it on a hanger and there's no ironing, then you'll keep getting that nice ruffle repeated every time you wear it and wash it. Sometimes if you made this in a lawn, it would look great the first time you made it, but then you've got to try and iron all that back in. So crepe is really good for these sort of holiday drape items, because then you can stuff it in a suitcase and wash it and wash it. Now, this one is nice and opaque. It's got a sort of texture to it, slightly not rough, because it's smooth on the one side, slightly rougher on the other side, but that gives it a real matte finish. So the last one had a little luster on it. This one's got a really matte and fully saturated colour, not see-through. Really nice feel, that one. Not as slippy. If you want to cut something out that's not going to slip around, that one is just a crepe with a really nice fluidity to it, but it's not as slippy, so that would be easier to cut out if it was your first time using it. This is called Yale Blue. This crepe comes in 23 different colours, and it's by John Caldor. So although he's synonymous with having bold pattern fabrics, it's some really nice quality plain fabric. This would also make any of the trousers from the first couple of patterns that I showed you, because it's just got a real sort of matte classic look to it. It's 100% polyester, and it's 59 inches wide, and this one's called Yale Blue. You can see, you can sort of, it all sort of could get it in your hand, but when you hold it back out, it's not creased. So I'm pairing this Prestige Yale Blue John Calder crepe with New Look 6444. My next pattern pick for children is the By Hand London Little Anna dress, and that's interesting because that goes from 18 to 24 months right up to age 13, so you can get something quite sophisticated for an older teen, and you can make something quite pretty for a younger girl. This has got quite a drape on the skirt, which is why crepe would work. This fabric has a sort of crinkle texture to it. So let me see if I can show you, if I get a bundle. So this is a washed viscose crepe. It comes in 8 colours, and it's 80% viscose and it's 20% nylon. Now, although it's a crinkle, this one does crease much more easily. So the other ones that I've shown you, you could wash them, hang them on a hanger, and they wouldn't need ironing. This one I would say does need ironing, and it's quite thin, but it's not opaque. It would make a nice adult blouse, but it would also make a really nice girl's dress if you wanted a plain colour, particularly if you wanted something sort of for a wedding or bridesmaid where you've got flowers or posh shoes and you just want something plain for the dress. You can see maybe the texture of it. It's just got a sort of the weave, you can see the weave of it going from one direction to the other, but it's a real budget price. It's got that drape that you might be looking for, and it would look great as the little Anna dress. Crepe also works for adult dresses, so crepe is really great for the Elodie dress by Closet Core Patterns, because you've got sort of a little pleat here that makes the bust shape, and then you can pull the waist in. So even if you pull the waist in more than you need to, so say you've got proportions where you want it bigger on the top but you need a smaller waist, you don't get a big thick amount there, you get a really nice gather. The Elodie dress comes in a few different sizes, so you can have a short one with a very deep arm hole that looks sort of more of a throw, caftan throw. It's a sort of cross between a caftan and a wrap dress. I've made it. It's really easy to make actually. And the fabric is a high twist crepe. Now this is lovely and smooth. This has a really different texture to the last one. This feels like the microfiber one, but is more opaque. It's got a beautiful drape. It's so soft. It would make a lovely blouse. Anything against your skin. It would make the t-shirt top off the New Look pattern. But for this Elodie dress, it would be absolutely perfect, because you would get the tie would drape nicely around your waist. And you could add pockets, but they wouldn't weigh the skirt down. So that's called Spruce. That's in the low price range as well, but it doesn't feel it at all. It says it's lightweight, but actually I think it's a bit more medium. It's definitely got that sort of swish about it, but it's not transparent. It's 59 inches wide. It comes in 11 colours. This one's called Spruce. It's called High Twist Crepe, and that gives a really smooth texture. Would be ideal for the Elodie wrap dress. My next pattern pick is for a dress and skirt. This is from Cashmerette Patterns. This is the Hollyoak Maxi Dress and Skirt. If you're starting out, if you're starting out, then the skirt would be the first thing I'd make in the crepe, just to see that you can work with it. And more experienced sewers might work with the dress pattern. There's a lot of buttons to put on there. There'll be a button band facing and facing around the bust, but the skirt would be really great. This one comes in a size range 12 up to a 32, so you get a good size range on that. And the fabric I've chosen is actually a budget one, but it feels just like the John Caldor one, the Yale blue one that I showed you. This is a red one. It's 59 inches wide. It only comes in 6 colours. It's a polyester crepe, but actually it's got the same feel as the John Caldor one, but a different price range. It's sort of got a little bit of give in it if you're just putting it around your waist or around your hips for a skirt. And this one doesn't need any ironing. It's got that sort of little texture, that sort of texture you associate with crepe. It's probably coming out a little bit pink on the screen, but it really is proper signal red, cherry red. And that would make a great maxi skirt. And the Cashmerette one, dress or skirt, would be perfect. That's the Hollyoak maxi dress and skirt. My next pick has a pattern that's perfect for it, but it also comes with a little bit of a health warning. This is the Meet the Milk Tencel Crepe, and it's beautiful and soft, but it's very light. You wouldn't want to be making anything shorts, trousers, skirt in this fabric. You would need to line it. You need to iron it. It's a bit more high maintenance, but the plus side is it just feels beautiful, because it's 86% tencel and 14% polyester. So if you're not so keen on purchasing polyester fabrics, this one says medium weight, but I think it's one of the lightest ones here. The dusky pink one and this one are both the lightest fabrics that I've put on the table, but it is great for making a night dress. And this night dress is from Style Arc, and you can make it as a top to go with bottoms, or you can make it as a long night dress, and it would be beautiful for that because the feel of it is lovely. I mean, the tencel in it makes it much more breathable, and it's got a really nice sort of that same crinkly texture as that dusky pink one. Ooh, where can I get? There. but it's very, very light and a little bit creasy. So if it's creasing in bed, it doesn't matter, does it? But you'll get the benefit of that lovely feel on your skin. If you've not used a style art pattern before, they come on just these large sheets, and I'll show you the instructions just so you can be sure. They sort of assume that you have some sewing knowledge. So there is the cutting list and the measurements. That list there is the instructions, and then sometimes they show you a few techniques, and they also show you where each piece matches another piece. But those are the instructions there, and then the rest of the paper are the pattern pieces. So that is the Style Arc camisole and nightie, and it would be most luxurious in this Meet the Milk Tencel crepe. This next fabric is really different, has a totally different hand. It is a moss crepe, and it's so much thicker, it almost feels a little bit spongy. It's got a texture on it, like a sort of woven texture. And it's much heavier, so it's not floating around. It's got a real weight to it. So this would make any bottom half garments like trousers and skirts. It's got a little bit of give in it as well, a little bit across there, a little bit across there. This one's in the higher price bracket, but if it's what you're looking for, it's the perfect fabric for making quite a long lasting item, because the colour won't drain on this. You won't be ironing it all the time, and you'll get a real quality item from it. It says it's light to medium, but I definitely would put this in the medium bracket, if not towards the heavy bracket, medium heavy I would say. But it would be great for these sort of start items and sort of tessuti patterns, floppy trousers, anything that needs a bit of swing and a bit of energy and a little bit of movement, but you'll get the coverage for that. You could really mix your crepes well, so this would make really brilliant trousers, and then you could maybe choose the Meet the Milk, the lighter one that I just showed you, would make that really great throw. So to mix your crepes, you'll get a really different feel because they have such a different hand, each one. But this one is definitely a medium to heavy weight and perfect for trousers. It's 53 inches wide and it's 100% viscose, but it doesn't feel it at all. It's so much thicker than viscose. I've got another John Caldor crepe to show you. So there are some main crepe lines that come from the different designers, and these are reorderable, and this is one of them. So the other one was John Caldor Prestige, and this one is John Caldor Viscose Crepe. This comes in 11 colours, and this is lovely. This has got a real beautiful feel about it. Be good for children's wear. It does come in 11 colours, so you're not strapped with pink there. It's light to medium. It's 51 inches wide. It's 51% viscose, which gives it that beautiful drape. 45% polyester. There's a little bit of elastane in there, so you're getting a little bit of stretch, which makes it really good. Stretch that way. Makes it really good if you're making a blouse or dress, or anything where you just need a little bit more of a fitting ease. It's got a very nice texture, very fine. I wouldn't even be able to show you, I don't think. That sort of texture you expect from crepe, like tiny, tiny little bubbles. And I'm pairing it with the Atelier Jupe Indie pattern for the Live blouse, because it's got that frill around the neck, and the crepe will hang beautifully, and it will also gather well across the yoke at the back. So you can see there's a gather across the yoke, and then there's this sort of frill collar, and the same sort of style sleeves that I've got with that sort of blouse gathered cuff. And that's the Live blouse by Atelier Jupe, And this one's called Rapture Pink. This is Viscose Crepe by John Caldor. Another blouse you might like to try, which is a pretty classic to use with crepe fabric, is a pussy bow blouse, because you can get that sort of bow at the front without it sticking out and looking like a clown or an air steward. So those are really good choices for crepe. This one is by Sew Over It, and it's 6 to size 20. That's a 31 bust to a 45-inch bust. I've made that before, that's not too difficult. And it would look great if you tried it in quite a fine crepe. So that pattern would take the finest of the crepes that we sell. And this one is a recycled polyester crepe. So it's 100% recycled polyester. It's 58 inches wide, and it's the cheapest fabric I'm showing you today. It's in the budget range. It's really lightweight, but actually it would make nice bridal wear if you were mixing it with something else. So you could use this as a lining as well. So if you were having a lace top, you could mix this underneath. So you could have this as your background fabric and then have lace on top. It's got a lovely feel. It's really, really soft and really, really fluid, but it is quite see-through. So if I wouldn't make a bottom half garment in this, but blouses, perfect. Actually, the blouse from the last pattern would look nice in this. It does only come in one colour. So a white blouse with a pussy bow, we can go under all your pinafore dresses and your dresses and under a jacket. That's a perfect match. My final pattern choice today is for those who are confident fitting trousers. So this is the Megan Nielsen Flint pattern. You can get shorts or a wider leg trouser from there. Suitable for lots of different fabrics actually, but a crepe one has a real nice drape along the bottom, or they make quite nice and light shorts that aren't heavy, and of course shorts you don't have to iron when you get them out your suitcase. And the fabric that I've chosen is a stretch crepe, because I think a stretch crepe is great if you're making trousers, because you've just got that room for a little bit of extra fitting around the crotch and the hips. This is a stretch woven crepe. It's 58 inches wide. It comes in 10 colours, and this is a medium weight, definitely. So it's not as thick as the other moss one. If you want something thicker, then the previous moss crepe that I showed you is thicker than this one, but this one is the same colour but with a lighter weight, medium weight. Good for trousers. Any of those trousers that I showed you in the early pattern choices would work with this. It's 98% polyester and 2% spandex. This one comes in 10 colours, so this one has a good range of colours as well for choosing for basic wardrobe items. And it's a really good weight for making the Megan Nielsen Flint trousers. I hope that's shown you some of the different weights of crepe. Crepe can have a really wide range of uses if you pick the right weight for the right pattern. So something medium weight like this would give you full opaque blouse, but also you could pick a lighter weight fabric for a blouse, and you can pick the heavier weight and the medium weights for the trousers and skirt garments. The really lightweight crepe can also be used as a lining. So if you're making something and you don't want that rustly acetate lining, a crepe can be chosen as a sort of quieter lining choice. Make sure you have the right tools to cut out your crepe so you don't get cross before you start. But some of the heavier weight ones and some of the ones with a little texture, if you fold them right sides together, you get a little bit more grip, which is a real top tip for cutting out. All the products that I've shown you today are listed below, so if you want to go and see what people have made with them, you can check if their description matches well with the pattern that they chose. People are really great at describing what went well and what didn't go well with their projects. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to bring you some more crepe fabrics soon.